for a 3 to 5 year project with a theme on sanitary and phytosanitary measures or systems. And earlier I introduced my classmate in my pre-med from the University of the Philippines years ago, and now he's bringing his associate. Engineer Padrilana, please introduce your friend here.
This is Vic.
Hello.
He's a formulator of different kinds of spices, herbal spices. He has a plot of land in Antipolo adjacent to mine.
Earlier we mentioned at least 20 hectares already.
Plus, yeah.
Yeah, plus already with mangoes and herbs.
Other food trees.
And now he's coming in to add more lands for potential use. How many hectares?
If consolidated, at least 80 hectares.
80 hectares. Anyway,
now,
please introduce yourself formally as a backgrounder for our viewers.
hello, I'm Victor Realdo. I am a farmer, a formulator, and a businessman. And right now, I have a demo farm or at least 2 hectares herbal farm in Antipolo, Rizal.
So existing
Yes,
2 hectare
it's
herbal
existing.
plantation.
Yes, because I am a formulator, I made it into...
And really interesting, you are seeing right now one of the products which is really from the capsicum species,
Capsicum
right?
species.
Yeah, this is a family of, we call it sili. Sili in Tagalog or chili in English. So this is the typical, we see this a lot of this variety in California.
Yes,
Either dried or still fresh like this. Anyway, but we have our own counterpart, our own indigenous, we call it labuyo,
siling labuyo.
which is capsule in form, smaller,
More concentrated.
yeah, and more colorful, I guess, from yellowish to from greenish, yellowish to
How
red.
about the Scoville scale? This one in the comparison.
I forgot the Scoville of this.
Anyway, Scoville scale is the spiciness of the chili.
Yes,
Oh,
scale
okay.
invented by Scoville.
Yeah, but I know out of my interaction with those who tried this, anecdotal testimonies of people who have been using siling labuyo, which is really like a small capsule, and if you take it without eating, without cracking it as a whole, every morning, one of that can prevent you from having heart attacks, strokes, and even, I guess, protect you from having cancer. So because of its antioxidant effects. So this is hard to swallow as a whole, but the siling labuyo, it was really like a capsule, smaller in size.
Actually, we encapsulate it so that.
So with this can also be used for cardiovascular diseases, for cancer,
but
already processed in a
Yes,
capsule form. So you're mentioning you have a plantation, but do you have a laboratory?
Right now we have small laboratories, but I have a friend who was interested to invest to our laboratories so that we cater some what we call this equipment and to have contract to other laboratories like Pascual Laboratory for Lagunde project naman.
Also a different herb,
Yes,
which is really approved by the DOH
Yes,
as one of those halamang gamot, or
and Mamurdica,
which is
Ampalaya.
Ampalaya. Yeah. Actually, there were at least 10 already approved by
Yes,
this time.
those approved by
Sambong is one of
Sambong,
those. Sambong
yes.
for as
Sambong.
diuretics, right? Yeah.
Uh,
Anyway, well, as a medical doctor, though we were trained and most of our subjects were geared towards using pharmaceuticals like drugs, we have like a year of pharmacology, one whole year of pharmacology subject, and then our biochemistry to support of course, pharmaceutical industry is also, you know, another year, and after that our nutrition is only like 1 month, so not much during our time. But now that we have recognized that, going back again to Hippocrates as a father of our field, no, father of medicine, he was saying that food is medicine. And now that we have realized that it is really true that food is medicine,
Yes.
especially now with the flourishing of nutraceutical products.
Mhm.
From it's not medicine that is really classified under the FDA, but at least it's a food supplement that is also towards helping the health and wellness of persons or human beings. Now with this, I have no doubt that this has a therapeutic potential, because, as I've said, this is a very good vasodilator. You try to crack it, and because of the spiciness and the hotness, all your blood vessels will dilate. Will dilate. See, that triggers a dilatation of the capilla of the blood
It will
vessels.
lower your blood
It
pressure.
will lower your blood pressure.
But
You know.
some businessmen, they sell it into capsule. They call capsinesis for
Like weight reduction.
weight reduction. Yes. Actually,
Maybe along the line of increased metabolism.
Yes,
Increased metabolism. Yeah, because when you eat this, you feel hot, and there's all that increase in metabolism will
Right.
really lose part of your unneeded fats, and you will really lose weight in the long run. But anyway, earlier I give them a background there why the United States Department of Agriculture is trying to help developing countries, at least 7, Philippines included, over the 9 years when they created the Food for Progress program under the Foreign Agricultural Services. The Food for Progress program initially was just intended for the agriculture sector of Mindanao. But as the years go by, I think whatever funding support, especially for this year's fiscal year's theme, sanitary and phytosanitary measures or safety, it can be applied nationwide. That's why I'm doing consultative meetings with people from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, that I would like the funds, if we are successful in our proposal, be distributed nationwide, especially allocating funds for research and development, for post-harvest.
It will be a big help for us.
Yeah, post-harvest. The research and development, I think, in the direction of pushing for food as medicine, for food supplements like the herbs and some other fruits and vegetables that have therapeutic potentials and can be really considered food supplements. No, in a processed way, not the raw way. But of course, if you have the time and the luxury to plant your own vegetables and fruits, do it, because as a supporter of Kaiser Foundation in the U.S., the best form of vitamins come from its natural packaging. The best forms of vitamins and supplements come from its natural packaging, meaning to say, fresh from the trees, fresh from the yard, and you eat it. I do it because I believe in the potential of acetaba. I have my own acetaba small plantation in the U.S. I have my own kamote yam because of the kamote tops. I love to eat salad. So no other way in terms of packaging. You package it fresh from your own yard, from your own farm, and you eat it fresh. But because if the problem there, if you have so much and it will just rot, then we go into processing. Whether we dry it, we powderize it, we capsulize it, we turn that into a liquid and we can make it a syrup or a drink. And that is also the essence of why the USDA is looking into the safety. See, is the Philippines ready for food safety, that if they have surplus of some food products coming from plants or animals, have we met the standards of the World Trade Organization in terms of sanitation, safety? Then they will come in now to look into a proposal that from the time we plant, we ensure that the seeds are clean, safe, and as they grow, we tend it, we cultivate it, we take care of it using safe chemicals, organic chemicals, and as we harvest it, we deposit, we store it in a safe and clean environment. And when we package it and ready to export it, say we end up into processing, it is acceptable as a safe food commodity in foreign countries, especially the US. It's so sad that fresh fruits like durian, fresh fruits like mangoes, and even siniguelas and santol, they are in the US. But though they are not grown in the US, I think most of them are from Thailand. And I wonder why Thailand can qualify that their fruits and vegetables can enter the United States. Maybe they have complied with the requirements of the USDA or even the FDA if it is a food, So in other words, we are in that direction that we increase our productivity, we get the support of the US government to increase our productivity, and we ensure food security for our own people and maybe for the impending famine that is probably due to the global warming or climate change. So this is really the direction why we're trying to increase our productivity for food security, for sharing our surplus food to other countries that they don't have the opportunity, don't have the lands to plant their own mangoes in the US or their coconuts somewhere. So this is why the United States of America is coming in to provide a grant, meaning to say, this is good for 3 to 5 years, we don't have to pay them back, but of course they will monitor it maybe quarterly on the first year, second year, third year, up to the fifth year, making sure that the money that they will, the seed money, I would call it the seed money because, the seed is the start of everything.
Yes.
And if you talk about the plants, this is a seed money. I would call it not a grant. This is a seed money that we don't even have to pay them. And the seed money has to grow and has to bear fruits, and the fruit of these labors will be translated into people's empowerment, good governance, because in this country we are known to be a corrupt country run by corrupt leaders, and the root cause of corruption is poverty. And when you translate poverty into financial stability of the people, there is no more reason for the votes to be bought by these wealthy and traditional politicians. The way to cut corruption in this country is to alleviate poverty. If the people are wealthy enough not to be attracted by, say, a bag of grocery or 500, 1,000 pesos during election, then we will be able to choose the right leaders who will govern this country the right way. Yeah. But anyway, before we go into your questions, I would like to highlight also your advocacy in good governance. I understand you are also pushing for a sectoral party list this forthcoming election. Can you mention that, sir?
I am a first nominee of One at Pinoy.
One
At Pinoy.
number one.
Pinoy. One at Pinoy.
One at Pinoy. And then you are what number in the ballot?
123.
123. And you are supposed to be first nominee. And what is the trust of your sector?
For farmers, and self-employed, and those who work in government also.
Mhm. So with what we're doing now, trying to gather support from USDA, this is in line with your
Yes.
sector, the farmer sector.
Farmers.
Now, as a businessman, I know it's a struggle, there are challenges, like a farmer, like you mentioned earlier, the challenges, the climate change, the capital, lack of capital, or if, lack of resources. As a businessman, what are the challenges? As a formulator, as an inventor of herbal medicine, what are your challenges?
The challenge is the requirements of FDA. For example,
So strict, huh? So strict.
So strict. But
Yeah.
the farm, what do you call it? Farm road
Has to be improved.
has to be improved.
So there is, and not only farm road, maybe
Yes,
with President Duterte's dream to build, including railway system. I go for that. I support a railway system in Mindanao, not only to pave a very good means of transportation, but that is the best way of a farm market road, the railway system. See?
Anyway, there's a budget for that.
Yeah, actually it's ongoing right
But
now.
we just don't know how to avail.
Oh yeah, it will be foreign funded still.
No, the government is funding
A farm to
3 million per kilometer.
Oh,
Yeah.
but it's not happening.
But you have
It's
to
not
be
implemented.
you have to be organized.
Oh, okay. Then I think with your community there in Antipolo, I've been there in 2011, 2012.
Twice.
It was so difficult. I mean,
Yes.
doing medical missions.
But now, now it's a lot easier.
Yeah. So the access, in terms of delivering healthcare is difficult because of a poor
Road
poor
network, road
roads,
network.
infrastructure. So still, with regards to agriculture, that road that is open for a very a way to bring the produce to the market. Yeah, but market, we think of the market really as local, right? But the way we will be funded by the US really is for international market, as long as we meet the standards, the requirements of food safety, sanitation, all that. So if we meet that, then we open to the world market. But of course, for you to export, you have to increase your production here because it may end up like even your own local market, you cannot even supply because you don't have much produce.
So,
So
for example, it's silly. The price because of the last year, it
Yes,
shoot
it-
up
it
to
shoot up
1,500 per kilo.
Per kilo.
Then just imagine,
increase
1,500 pesos per
per
kilo.
kilo. Local market, your
Local
own
market.
See? So
Because the problem is timing, the timing of the planting to harvesting. So there are lean months, but there are lean
No
supply
produce.
of.
let's
seed.
focus on this the capsicum species. You are in the field. How long? Because I am also clueless with how do you plant it. I know you can plant it from the seeds, right?
Now,
Or seedlings.
We bought this in seedling from the East-West
Seedling Foundation.
seedling.
Another
It's a
non-profit
certified
organization.
seeds.
from overseas or locally.
From local.
So the seeds would come from a particular organization, and then from the time you get the seeds, then you spend an investment there getting the seeds. Say, because right now this video will be viewed by a team of grant writers from Davao, and they will put this into writing. And of course, when you propose for a grant, you present like a feasibility study, convincing the funding organization, which is really the USDA, that this is sustainable, that the ROI is double, triple, double in say in 1 month, in 2 months. So let us focus on.
Yes.
We have not discussed this with Mango, but I think in Mango, the mango industry, they have all those data already in the internet. They can show a very good feasibility study, but this is something new. No? Say, a typical investor would go into
In fact, this was used as a political, what do you call that?
Machinery.
There's an increase in 1,000. It shoot up from 80 pesos to 1,000 pesos per kilo. So
it became like an issue. Why
it became an issue, yeah.
Why the city has gone up to
Yeah.
that high? Huh? So typically, you say for an ordinary investor, or say for America to look into this, okay, part of the grant money will go into the buying of seeds and the growing of this. Tell us, because our grant writer will put this in as part of our proposal.
English.
Yeah, tagalogin mo na.
Pwede ba? Okay, okay. Yung pagtatanim ng sili, maano rin siya, magastos. 1 hectare, we spend 1.2 for 1 hectare.
Just for preparation.
Just,
1.2.
From seedling, million.
Sa a hectare, you have to spend 1.2 million.
Basal pa kasi yung
Because the land is still raw.
Still raw.
So you have to develop the land.
Also from a barren land.
Yes.
Barren land.
So, but when you talk
preparation
about the
alone.
20 hectares, those are part of the 20 hectares are barren lands.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, it's good to present the real situation. That,
But the 2 hectares already.
so the 18 hectares are barren lands. So what the 1 hectare and then 18 hectare times 1.2 pesos. That's how you will convince them that this is the capitalization, right?
But it's just one time. No?
One time
One
siya.
time. Because once the land is already developed.
Oh, so the initial, the barren lands, to make it ready for plantation, you have to start invest 1.2 million for hectare and then multiply it with 18 hectares. So that is the money that we will like to get, right? So okay, presuming that it's funded, so now they will monitor how will, presuming that it's, let us say 1 million, 18 million right away, 18 million pesos, and $1 million is only $20,000. No, see, so that is how you present it in paper. No? Convert it to dollars. And then, now, with that, when do you start seeing the return of your investment?
After 3 months.
After 3 months.
Yes.
After 3 months, harvest time.
Harvest time.
And it's continuous. Every other day.
Every other day.
Every other day you
So,
harvest.
what is the return of investment from that 1.2 million?
It depends
The price of
in the
sili,
price of the
right?
sili,
The
and
market.
paano mo siya i-market as a product.
Fresh product.
Pag,
Fresh.
If fresh product,
Oh.
Medyo maliit.
medyo mababa, okay. Pero pag ginawa sa
Process mo yan.
process mo, like encapsulate mo, actually I have 8 million inventories dried.
Dried already.
Dried.
Now, with your existing 2-hectare farm for this capsicum, what do you think? Does it already pass the standards of World Trade Organization in terms of quality, sanitation, food safety, or you need more improvements with
I
your
think it-
drying station, with your
Yeah.
laboratory?
Need improvements.
So you need funding for that.
Yes.
Maybe how much?
For the dry,
Maybe-
for the
Because
drying
we will
machine.
put the amount now, we put the amount, how much? For the laboratory, the drying,
I think
The
What is most
packaging.
efficient? Freeze drying? Freeze drying or sun dry?
sun dry is maaraw.
There's sun.
But like
Dehydrator.
today,
Maybe dehydrator.
yes.
Dehydrator.
Air dryer.
a dryer.
Air dryer.
So I think between sun drying and air drying, what is safe and
Combination.
what is safe is probably air drying.
Air drying.
Because you're not exposed to
Yeah,
insects.
you're exposed to the fungus and
Insects.
insects. So I'm not into processing of fruits and plants, so I'm not so familiar about which one is a better in terms method in terms of food safety.
How about the you spray from time to time against
As you grow, that's my next question.
We use 60% organic spray, 40% chemical.
So the chemical, I was emphasizing we are not getting I was telling my grant writer, we will not be against the use of chemicals because that is the standard in the US anyway, or even in the Philippines. There's no banning yet of chemical.
You will be stepping on toes.
Yeah, we don't want to step. Yeah,
So maybe
but we are just
standard practice.
like the mainstream medicine. The medicine that is taught to medical students in a typical medical school is really pharmaceuticals. But now with the awareness that there is also such a thing as alternative medicine using nutraceuticals, so we are just follow the same direction. We are not stopping pharmaceutical industry, we are not stopping chemicals in agriculture, but we are posting an alternative that part of these funds will be used also for research and development, that we can prove that the chemical, the old way of preventing diseases, prevent in plants, animals, now with the alternative method is as good or even better than the chemical approach. So something that we might get portion of the funds for research and development. And if the organic way is still very crude, the way to do it is still crude because of lack of technology, lack of resources, lack of facilities, then probably we can include that in our proposal. We can include it in our proposal. That's why I was asking if your setup can pass already with the standards, then there's no need for funding support. Now, I'd like, that's why I'm trying to do consultation with the stakeholders, because all I can do is really gather all the data, create a team of grant writers, make use of my US connections with the Trump administration to make this happen. But at the end of the day, without that Bayanihan spirit, without the cooperation, the collaboration of every Filipinos, the money that is supposedly for the Philippines, we will not get it. Especially if the Department of Agriculture here in the Philippines will try to hinder the release of their funds by not issuing an endorsement. What a stupid government this country has.
Even supplying technicians to inspect his lab, we can't even do that because it's too far. It's too far.
See, now we are trying to make the Philippine government, the 9 agencies in the Department of Agriculture, and we're appealing the administration of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte to be serious, to make the Philippines advance further, stop corruption.
I guess he's serious, but
the people around here, okay.
The problem is systemic.
Yeah, so, but we start with poverty alleviation, because poverty, again, the root cause of poverty is corruption. The reason people are not, are still very poor because of the corrupt leaders. And the corrupt leaders would really tolerate poverty because that is how they will earn votes. That is the time they will show up to the squatters area, to the countryside. They will show up only during campaign period, and they will just, they are effective in campaign because they will bribe the voters with groceries and money. But say 20 years later, when the people, because of this funding support, when our poor farmers are empowered, do you think they will be attracted to be bribed by 500 to 1,000? They can now think clearly that I will vote based on my conscience, I will vote the right leaders, I will never be influenced by bribery and corruption. So that is the direction, and we have a clean and honest government. Then we can say that the developing country like the Philippines has advanced. We belong now to that first world country like America, Great Britain, and some other countries in Europe. But for now, we are still developing. We are developing in the sense that our governance is still very poor, our leaders are still very corrupt, so we are also hitting the root cause of poverty, the corrupt and very bad leaders in this country. We would like to stop them from running this country. And if I will go further, I would like to make this country, if this is run by corrupt leaders, then we go back to having run this country by the Americans. It used to be said that we would rather have this country run by the dogs as long as we are independent. But look what happened. Huh?
I'd rather have my country. I guess it's Quezon.
Yeah. There was a saying that
I'd rather let the Philippines be run by like hell by Filipinos,
Yeah.
and run like heaven by Americans.
Yeah, you see, but look at what's happening with that kind of thinking. Look at what happens to
Well,
our poor farmers.
Well, it became hell.
See?
So be careful of what you wish for.
yeah. So again, so unless you have some other questions, sir, feel free. I'm here to consult with you, to identify the commodities, and this is one good commodity. No, this
He's inviting us come Sunday.
Okay, we have more footages, video footages, more
Yes, on
discussion.
Sunday.
Because I will not only convince the winning grant is not just backed up by the format, the guidelines, but I will support it with videos, pictures, that would be very convincing that this group of people, the collaborators, the stakeholders, the writers, are really serious and would really like to transform the lives of the poor farmers, fisher folks, and release them from the bondage of slavery, which is really capitalism. Capitalism. We would like our poor farmers to be their own capital, to be the capitalist, not the old traditional Ilustrado family that's making the I would call the farmers, the fisher folks as heroes. In fact, I am creating an organization, Alyansa ng mga bayaning magbubukid at Alyansa ng mga bayaning mangingisda. I would call our farmers and fisher folks bayani. We always use the word bayani for the soldiers, but I think the word bayani is also meant to describe our poor peasant farmers, that even at this modern day and age, they are still peasants in the real sense of the word. Would you agree?
Yes.
Would you agree? They are still the old, poor slave peasants that even with the implementation of the DAR and all the agrarian reforms, they cannot, what will we do with the lands?
The law is already in place, but the implementation is like this.
Yeah, because they have no money to start. They have the lands. But would you wait for another 6 months, 1 year before, the next harvest to feed you? So what happens is the lands remains to be nakatiwangwang. Nakatiwangwang, and instead of toiling the soil, especially the young people and the old, easy money is a big attraction. And selling shabu and drugs is, I think, whether this government will accept it or not, the shabu, the illegal drugs, the way to stop it is to alleviate poverty. Because drug pushing is a source of livelihood in this country. Correct? See? So, the funding support, especially for those farmers who have turned into traders of shabu and illegal drugs, we will let them, we will give them an alternative. Let us go back to farming. Let us make the Philippines as the #1 rice-producing country in Asia, the #1 fruit-producing country, because we are really an agricultural country.
The land is here already. If
Yeah.
you go out 30 minutes away from Manila, you can see all the land.
Yeah, we're so
And
blessed.
it's
But it's barren. You see, you have
It's
18, you alone
underused.
have 18 hectares
underused.
underused. And then the way to use it is to come up with subdivisions, right? Villages.
Which will only attract
More flooding.
people to the urban area.
Yeah, yeah,
So, there's no food security there because there's nobody
And
taking
really,
care of the
the
farms.
bigger problem now is global warming and climate change. If you continue that, you slow down in agriculture, you stop greening this universe, then we have a problem really of global warming and climate change. Because, you know, nobody will plant trees, nobody will plant fruits. And remember, even elementary students will understand this. Why do we survive as humans? Because of the exchange of gases between plants and animals. We exhale oxygen, we exhale carbon dioxide, we inhale oxygen from the plants and trees. So if we don't have plants, what do we inhale? Is it oxygen or carbon dioxide and monoxide from the
The balance will be, there will be an imbalance in the
Yeah.
makeup of the air.
Yeah, so that is really a basic concern now. That there's a threat of global warming, climate change, plus if we will not act on this, we will suffer a world famine and we will die. Our civilization will be wiped out. And we don't like that to happen. We would like to survive, we would like our partners, animals and plants to survive because we live harmoniously. We are one big part of nature. Plants, animals, and humans, we are all green. God reminds, and my acronym is God reminds everyone to enjoy nature. Plants, animals, and humans, we are supposed that God is supposed to be reminding us that we will enjoy nature. He has blessed us with nature. We will live peacefully. We will not fight and kill each other. We will not fight and kill our animals. We will preserve our animals. We will preserve our plants. Because that is the only way we will survive. So I think, in simple words, let us work on this with that bayanihan spirit, with that belief that God will intervene in our pure and honest intention to survive not only as humans but even our plants and animals as well. We will prevent the spread of diseases in plants, animals, and humans with the help of the United States of America, Department of Agriculture, in their theme of sanitary and phytosanitary measures or systems. And thank you, America, for the grant that we are expecting in the next few months.